Hi everyone. Right, as promised, the defensive settings video. Before we get into this, I just want to say thanks to everyone who's supported me so far. It's a really cool thing to be doing. My goal here is to help, beginner, intermediate players learn some of the tricks of the game that maybe more experienced players know, so they're not, losing out because of settings or squads that they're running. Just trying to give information to everyone. This isn't a this isn't a series for elite players. You'll know this stuff. It's definitely not for you. Um, I also where 2K21 came out today. I've had a quick play around with the demo, and it seems quite similar. So I think the stuff that we're finding out now, is probably going to help us in a few weeks as well. But hopefully it'll help you in the short term before 2K21 comes out. I've seen some awesome posts, about even just this kind of squad builder to go 12-0. I did. I saw someone went 10-2 to get Glenn Rice. That's awesome. Let's keep doing more of that and let's keep building on it. I think the difference between that 10-2 and the 12-0 is probably the defensive settings. So let's get into it. I'm going to start out by showing you the standard defensive settings. Now this is on rookie. It's a domination game, I think. Um, Really, all I want you to do is focus on the positioning of the players. That's the key. So if you start a game and your opponent pauses, goes into settings, um, you're at a disadvantage if you haven't done the same. For sure. I'll tell you why. I don't know what I'm doing. I just need to get rid of the ball. Um, watch the positioning of your players here. Just focus on the gap between them and the player they're guarding. Look at the gap between Durant and RJ right now. That's a wide open three. Now you'll find yourself in a lot of games with someone literally just popping open to that player again and again and then hitting that exact three. If you're finding yourself running a lot of close games, things going into the fourth quarter, you find yourself sweating in every single game you're playing, it's because your defense isn't helping you here. Now, with these settings, I mean, there's no scenario where you want to use them. There just isn't. So I'm going to get into the first thing here, which is I'm going to run through three different sort of settings. One of them is quite a significant shift, but the first one is this. This is really for someone you're playing who's just spamming threes. We all know who that player is, but you will play someone who spams threes. Change the on-ball pressure to smother. What this means is when the player catches the ball, when the ball handler catches the ball, there will be a player who closes down on him very quickly. And then off-ball pressure tight. What that means is when that player is going to close that player down quite quickly, he's already fairly close to be able to do that. It also limits the space, that any player off the ball has. But let's just run with this. Now, if you change any settings, there's two other things you need to do. Coach settings, when you log into any MyTeam game, it will be an adaptive coaching engine of offense and defense. You need to turn this off. If you don't turn this off, any settings you make in defensive settings won't matter because the coach is going to control your defensive plays. The next thing is go to coaching sliders and turn help defense off. Now, I saw a post the other day about someone who couldn't understand why when they were double teaming, they were losing the game. Double teaming is the worst thing you can do in this game, and help defense is literally the double team option. So what it does is, if you're guarding a player, maybe they're on a hot run, especially when there's sort of, maybe they're on takeover or they've scored 20, 30 points in a game, other players will start coming over to try and help basically double team that player. Every time a player is being double teamed, someone else is wide open. It's just not something you want to do. So turn those off and let's just see the immediate difference just from those settings alone. Now, if you're running this setting, again, it's really designed to shoot threes. Focus on the ball handler on these settings. Now, you can switch if you need to, but they are going to get open under the basket. That's the problem here. So if they're just shooting threes, just sit in this. It's fine. It will make their job infinitely more difficult. But yeah, if they're starting to run the rim, this is probably a tougher setting to use. Now, just a simple thing. You'll see a lot of time online. The opposition's just getting too much time on the ball. You need to, just harass, at the very least, the ball handler should always be, You don't need to be pressing steal, but the pressure should always be there. And it's just going to make his life difficult. Don't give him time to make his shots. Don't give him time to make his passes. Put some pressure on him. The more hurried your opponent is, the more likely they are they're going to make mistakes. But yeah, again, this is enough of a setting. I'm just gonna show you again. If I just run to the rim. Oh, we don't want free throws. I'm glad that was an and one. At least it will speed things up a little bit. But when we reset here, I'm going to try and pull them back as quickly as I can. Just see the difference in how close they are. Look at Giannis there in the corner. That is close. You know, Ben Simmons all over his man here. Yeah, Giannis is there. He just doesn't have an option there. So it's quite tight. But the truth is, you know, if you're going to rim run online, you're probably going to have more success against this man defense. So what's the next thing? So we're on him, we're forcing him to stop. Like, I'm not pressing steal here at all, by the way. I might step over and look for that. There you go. Just all over the place. Now, he's a rookie. I mean, you know, you will play people online who are probably as bad as this. But it's going to have an effect against everyone. So that's how you stop threes. Now let's stop the rim run. So go into settings. Again. Actually, no, you don't need to do that at all. So just press left on the D-pad and your 2-3 zone. Didn't have the chance to do that there, so let's get rid of this ball. So left on the D-pad. There's a timeout. They're really not going to let me do this. So left on the D-pad and 2-3 zone. What that will do is it will put 3 players at the back of the court, and it will be 2 players just in front. You'll literally see it visibly every time they reset. So I'll do it now. You'll see them shift into that formation. Not if I'm controlling Yao. There you go. Now, this stops the rim run. You can see the paint's already a lot more crowded. Now, after playing for a while on the zone, you'll get a lot better switching between on and off ball. What that means is marking the defender that has the ball and then limiting his options outside of it. But when you're new, don't focus too much on the off ball. Remember, you've still got your tight defense settings on, which should do the job. Focus on the player that's the better pass. And what 2-3 zone will do is it will get you steals. It will cut passing lanes. It will leave the 3 more open, definitely. But you see here, I'm going to let Durant come up. I'm going to cut off that passing option to Kareem. Now he's going to run the screen. We'll try and step over, get the steal. We didn't get it. But you can see the rim run just becomes a real problem. And one of the big reasons for this is when you're new, one of the strategies you use is you paint sit with your center. When you have a 2-3 zone running, you don't need to. Watch Yao's positioning throughout this whole play. I'm not controlling him at all. I'm focusing on the best pass, which is probably over here, so I'm going to cut that door off. Look at his options, just nothing. There's nothing there. Gets it out to Giannis, who's literally on him, so he can't make the shot. Now, there is a problem with the 2-3 zone. It's not the best zone to run, which, you know, we're going to get into the next settings. If you're going to get into the zone, you'll see one problem again and again. I'm going to show you right now as they reset. Just keep an eye on the corners. This is why it's a problem on threes. Just keep an eye on the corners. See Trier there? See how open he is? He was going to stay that open if they didn't call a timeout, but we'll rush through this timeout and we'll see it again. They will leave players open in the corners. They will do it again and again and again. Now, with a bit of practice, you can you know, if you're good at switching, you can limit that. You can see they're just chasing threes now because they know that turns there. Even the computer's smart enough to do that, by the way. Yeah, you'll see again. Fast breakers on here if you're playing someone online. But just keep an eye. Just keep an eye on the corners. Look at Antetokounmpo here. Not great positioning to stop that 3. Now the computer's on rookie, but you know, most people are going to be making these shots if you're playing them online. It just doesn't work on the corners. So there is a final setting. There's one final setting, which is more complicated, but the most effective. Go back into defensive settings, smother rule. Now you're going to go to deny ball. What that does is it changes the defensive behaviour to marking the defender closely to actually trying to get steals in the passing lanes. Direction goes to baseline, on-ball screen goes to go over. On-ball screen centre goes to go under. Hedge will go to catch hedge all. Hedge centre, catch hedge all. Stay attached, no. Off-ball screen go over, post, front all, and then switch off-ball rules will go to switch all. Now, your settings are there, but there's one more thing you need to do. So I'm just going to do it. I don't really care what happens here. Go back into the zone and then go back to man to man. Now watch what happens. Look at Giannis right now. We're literally in the same zone positions we were in before, but everyone is now being parked a lot closer. Now, finishing up the first quarter there, I mean, just in one play, you could see very clearly that the options are completely changed. So we're going to run, half the second quarter, and then we'll end this video, just to show you how effective this zone actually is. So it is a man-to-man. Remember, I'm in man defense, but they're playing like a zone. Look at their positioning right now, almost identical to a zone, but it's not. Now, KD's right on his man. He's probably looking for this pass. We close the door to that. He makes a bad pass. Now he's in all sorts of trouble. Now just make sure you're on the player that's open every single time. So keep switching. As I said, you'll get better after time switching between on and off ball. You'll be able to get steals on the ball because you'll be able to switch quickly between that defender closing off the best pass and the player running the floor. And again, when you're playing people online, make it difficult for them. Don't give them space, don't give them time to make the shot. Especially when you start off balling like this, you will start to neglect that player coming up the floor. Just get on him for at least a little bit and then you can switch. Now I'm on Simmons. Antetokounmpo is going to close that door. He's going to get across. If he took that shot, it's blocked. Simmons has closed off his best possible pass. He does get open, but it works. Just nothing's easy now. You saw earlier, when we compared this to the settings we had right at the start, there was easy shots. When you compare it to the zone defense, threes were easy there. If you compare it to the normal man on man, even with the tight defense, you will get blown by, especially when you're running against a few opals. This defense just works. This defense will be the difference between conceding 70 or 80 points in a game and conceding 40. And the one thing that probably happens the most is rage quits. People don't want to play against a defense that's making their life difficult. There's Yao Ming just under the post. You don't even need to control him. He's going to contest a shot like that every single time. Now, one final bit of information, one final bit of advice, which I actually think is probably the most important bit of advice you're going to get on this game. That's a good play. It's a good example of actually what I'm about to talk about. The worst thing you can do on this game is get frustrated. I know when my opponent is frustrated. It's very, very obvious. They start shooting bad shots. They're all over the place. You can feel it when it happens. A defense like this is going to cause that to happen. Your opponent will get frustrated. If you're both running defense like this, the most likely tiebreaker is who gets more frustrated. There are ways to beat this defense. This game is not perfect. You will play against people who are going to shoot threes and I mentioned in my last video, they'll just go in. With no skill, no quality, nothing. They'll just go in. They'll rim run, your players will get blown by for no reason. You are going to concede points in this game. For me, my goal is to concede less than 10 points in a quarter. If I concede 12, that's fine. I know I'm going to score more than that. But, if you come out quickly, they hit a couple of threes, and, they're lucky threes, let's say. That you don't think they should have made them. They were lucky, they were whites, whatever. That's not a reason yet to change your defense. Wait it out a little bit longer. We've all played people that have, shot lights out for a quarter and they're not made a three for the rest of the game. Feel it out. Your first quarter is your opportunity to decide what defense you're going to run. I would say coming into the second quarter, you want to know. The most common situation for me is the first quarter is usually close. If I'm honest, the first quarter I play is usually close. Or certainly the closest quarter in the game. Quarters 2, 3, 4, I tend to take over. I mean, it's just a very, very regular thing. So try it out. Combined with the squad that you were given the other day, I don't really see a scenario now where you don't go 12-0. You run this defense with that team, with those matchups, it's definitely going to happen. Thanks again, guys. This is a series for beginners at this game. People who just want to get better. Again, it's not a it's not a series for elite players. I hope that we can help a few players get better. The next video I'm going to do is probably my attacking settings, and after that, which I'm really probably most excited to do, I'm going to show you how to build a God squad. Just a quick look at this. These are all GOAT cards. This is my A team. I spent £8 this year. That's actually what I spent because I was new to MyTeam, and when I first got the game, I spent £8 thinking that it would get me a really good team. I think it got me a couple of bronze cards, but I was no money spent all year. And to me, this is the best team in the game. I don't think it can get better than that, certainly for me. So keep an eye out for that video as well. I really want to help people do that in 2K21 and as we move forward. But that's everything for now. I'm really interested to see how you guys get on. Please let me know if it works, if you're having success with it. If you want to run online, just let me know and I'll see if I can find the time to do this in real time. Thanks again. See you later.